The moment the cathedral doors slammed shut behind me, I knew I had made the biggest mistake of my life. 300 of the most dangerous criminals in New York were staring at me in my dirt-stained jeans and ripped t-shirt. And the man at the altar, the one with cold dark eyes that could freeze fire, was smiling. "Finally," he said, his Korean accent curling around the word like smoke. "My bride has arrived." I had walked into the wrong church. But according to Kang Jae-won, the most feared syndicate boss on the eastern seaboard, there was no such thing as accidents. Only fate. And fate, apparently, had just sentenced me to become his wife. What I did not know then, what would shatter everything I thought I understood, was that this was not a coincidence at all. Someone had planned this. Someone I was beginning to trust with my entire heart, but I am getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. From the moment my ordinary life ended and my nightmare, or maybe my dark fairy tale, began. My name is Amara Okonkwo, and up until 3 weeks ago, my biggest problem was keeping the aphids off my grandmother's rose bushes. I am 24 years old. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but my grandmother brought me to America when I was just a baby. She raised me in Harlem, and together we built a tiny flower shop called Blooming Promises on 125th Street. It was my grandmother's dream before she passed, and her mother's before that. For generations of Okonkwo women have arranged bouquets for weddings, funerals, proms, and every celebration in between. I talk to my flowers. Yes, I know how that sounds. But my grandmother always said that plants have souls, and if you treat them with kindness, they will bloom brighter for you. Maybe that is why my arrangements were becoming famous in Manhattan. People came from all 5 boroughs for my work. That is how the trouble started. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I always do inventory on Tuesdays. A sleek black car pulled up outside my shop. The kind of car that does not belong in my neighborhood. The kind that screams money, power, and danger. A man stepped out. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. His face was hard, with a scar running down his left cheek. He looked like the kind of person who solved problems with his fists. "You Amara Okonkwo?" His voice was gruff. I gripped my pruning shears a little tighter. "Depends on who is asking." He almost smiled. "Almost. My boss wants to hire you. Big job. Wedding flowers for 300 guests. 300 guests. My heart nearly stopped. That was the kind of job that could change everything for my business. I could finally fix the leak in the back room. Maybe even hire some help. "Who is getting married?" I asked, trying to sound casual. The man's expression flickered. Just for a moment, something passed across his face. Pity? Warning? I could not tell. "The Kang family," he said. I should have said no right then. Everyone in New York knew the Kang name. They were whispered about in dark corners, their reputation built on blood and secrets. The Korean Syndicate. The real deal. Not the glorified movie version, but the actual, terrifying criminal empire that had controlled the city's underground for decades. They called themselves Japak, and their influence stretched from Seoul to New York, from the glittering casinos of Gangnam to the dark alleyways of Manhattan. But I was behind on rent. My supplier was threatening to cut me off. And pride, stubborn, foolish pride, made me lift my chin. I can do it. When is the wedding? 3 weeks. He handed me a card with nothing but an address and a time. Be here Saturday. You will meet with the bride to discuss her vision. And just like that, he was gone. I should have listened to the voice in my head screaming that this was a terrible idea. Instead, I started sketching arrangements and dreaming of the money that would save my grandmother's legacy. The address led to a mansion in the Hamptons. Not a house. A mansion. The kind with gates and guards and gardens that stretched on forever. I drove my beat-up Honda through those gates feeling like a fraud. My nicest dress suddenly felt cheap. My natural hair, which I had carefully styled into goddess locks, suddenly seemed unprofessional. Every insecurity I had ever felt about not belonging in spaces like this came flooding back. But I squared my shoulders and reminded myself of my grandmother's words. My daughter, you are an Okonkwo. We bow to no one. A butler, an actual butler, led me through marble hallways into a sunroom overlooking the ocean. And there, sitting on a white silk couch, was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. She had delicate features, porcelain skin, and dark hair cascading in perfect waves. She was maybe 30, dressed in a cream designer dress that probably cost more than my car. You must be Amara. Her smile was warm. I am Park Soo-yeon. I am the bride. For the next 2 hours, we talked flowers. She wanted white roses and lilies, with touches of deep burgundy. Like wine, she said. Like passion. She was easy to talk to, laughing at my jokes, asking about my grandmother's shop. By the end, I almost forgot who she was marrying. Almost. I should warn you, Soo-yeon said as I packed up my portfolio. My fiancé is particular. He will want to approve everything. That is fine. Most grooms do not care about flowers, though. Soo-yeon's laugh was strange. Hollow. Jae-won cares about everything. Every detail. Every person who enters his world. She looked at me then, and something in her expression made my blood run cold. Be careful around him, Amara. He is not what he seems. Before I could ask what she meant, the butler appeared to escort me out. I did not see Soo-yeon again until the wedding. By then, it was too late. The day of the wedding was chaos. I had been delivering flowers to the cathedral since dawn. The Kang wedding was the most elaborate event I had ever worked on. 15,000 white roses. 20 cascading lily arrangements. Centerpieces for 50 tables at the reception venue. My assistant, Tommy, was handling the reception while I managed the cathedral. Everything was going perfectly until my delivery van broke down 6 blocks away from the church. With the final arrangement, the bride's personal arch, in my arms, I ran. My GPS led me to Cathedral of the Sacred Heart. I was sweaty, disheveled, and desperate. The side door I had been using all day was locked. So I ran around to the front. The main doors were massive, wooden, and slightly ajar. I pushed through them, thinking only of getting the flowers in place before the ceremony started. I did not realize the ceremony had already begun. 300 people turned to look at me. Men in expensive suits. Women dripping in diamonds. And at the altar, a priest standing between 2 figures. But there was only one man at that altar. No bride. The groom's eyes locked onto mine. Dark. Cold. Completely unreadable. He was tall, at least 6'2", with jet black hair pushed back from a face that could have been carved from marble. His jaw was sharp, his cheekbones high, and there was a scar bisecting his right eyebrow that only made him more striking. Kang Jae-won. The Syndicate boss himself. Finally, he said, and his voice echoed through the silent cathedral. My bride has arrived. The flowers slipped from my arms and crashed to the floor. I what? No, I am the florist. I am just delivering. Florist? A murmur rippled through the crowd. Jae-won's expression did not change, but something flickered in those dark eyes. Amusement? Interest? There seems to be a misunderstanding. An older man stepped forward from the front pew. He had Jae-won's eyes, but softer. His father, maybe. The bride is late. This young woman is clearly. The bride is not late, father. Jae-won's voice cut through the air like a blade. Soo-yeon sent word 20 minutes ago. She is not coming. Gasps filled the cathedral. I saw hands moving toward concealed weapons. The tension in the room skyrocketed from uncomfortable to deadly. She is not coming? The older man's face turned purple with rage. After everything we arranged? After the Park Alliance? It appears the Park family has chosen to insult us. Jae-won's calm was terrifying. They will be dealt with. I was already backing toward the door. This was so far above my pay grade that I could not even see my pay grade anymore. I needed to leave. I needed to run and never look back. But as I turned, two massive men in black suits blocked my path. Not so fast, little flower. Jae-won's voice stopped me cold. You walked through those doors at the exact moment my bride should have appeared. In my world, that means something. It means your GPS sucks and your side door was locked. My voice came out higher than I intended. I am just the florist. Jae-won descended the altar steps slowly, like a predator stalking prey. The crowd parted for him. No one dared breathe. He stopped directly in front of me. This close, I could smell his cologne, something dark and expensive. I could see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes. I could feel the power radiating off him like heat. What is your name? He asked softly. Every instinct told me to lie. But something about those eyes made honesty spill out. Amara. Amara Okonkwo. Amara. He said my name like he was tasting it. Tell me, Amara Okonkwo, do you believe in fate? I believe in wrong place, wrong time. That earned me an actual smile. Small. Dangerous. But real. The Park family has broken a sacred contract. By tradition, by blood law, they owe me a bride. Without one, my position becomes vulnerable. There are those who will see this as weakness. He leaned closer, his lips nearly brushing my ear. I cannot afford to appear weak. That sounds like a personal problem, I whispered back. His laugh was low and dark. I like you, Amara Okonkwo. So I am going to give you a choice. Walk out those doors and I will make sure you get home safely. But you will always wonder what could have been. Or stay. Become my bride. 6 months. That is all I need to secure my position and handle the Park betrayal. In return, I will give you more money than you could make in 10 lifetimes. I will protect you, provide for you, treat you like the queen you will be. I stared at him. You are insane. Probably. He straightened. But I am also running out of time. My enemies are watching. The Park family is watching. In exactly 3 minutes, word of this humiliation will spread across the city. I need an answer, Amara. Now. I do not even know you. You will have 6 months to change that. The logical part of my brain was screaming to run. But another part, a part one did not recognize, was calculating. The money could save my shop. Could save my grandmother's legacy. 6 months was nothing, really. And something about the way he looked at me. If I say yes, and I am not saying yes, what exactly would this marriage involve? Nothing you do not consent to. His voice was firm. You will have your own suite. Your own staff. I will ask only that you appear by my side at public events and maintain the illusion. What happens in private is entirely your choice. And after 6 months? A quiet divorce. A generous settlement. And you walk away, free and rich. 3 minutes. That is all I had to make a decision that would change my entire life. I thought about my grandmother's shop. The mounting debts. The broken delivery van. I thought about the life of struggle I was returning to. Then I thought about those dark eyes. The electricity that sparked when he said my name. The way my heart was racing not from fear, though there was plenty of that, but from something else entirely. If you ever hurt me, I said slowly, I will find a way to destroy you. His smile widened. I believe you. I took a deep breath. Then I guess you have yourself a bride. The priest, who had been frozen in shock, finally spoke. This is highly irregular. Proceed with the ceremony, Father. Jae-won's voice left no room for argument. We have a wedding to complete. And just like that, I went from Florist to Syndicate bride. The reception was a blur of champagne I was not allowed to drink and conversations I could not follow. Everyone spoke in coded phrases and meaningful glances. Some switched between Korean and English so quickly I could barely keep up. I smiled until my face ached and clutched Jae-won's arm like a lifeline. He played his role perfectly. The devoted groom. He kept a protective hand on my lower back, introduced me to powerful people whose names I immediately forgot, and deflected questions about our whirlwind romance with practiced charm. But his eyes never warmed. Not really. Behind the performance, I could see the calculating machine working overtime. It was midnight when we finally arrived at his Manhattan penthouse. The views were staggering. The entire city sprawled out beneath us like a carpet of lights. But I could not appreciate it. I was too focused on the man removing his tie behind me. "Relax," he said, reading my tension. I meant what I said. "Nothing you do not consent to. Forgive me if I do not take the word of a syndicate boss at face value." He actually laughed. A real one. "Fair enough. But let me ask you something." He turned to face me, leaning against his desk with casual grace. "If I were going to hurt you, would I need your consent?" The question should have terrified me. Instead, I found myself answering honestly. "No." "Exactly. Which means when I give you my word, it actually means something." He pushed off the desk and walked toward a hallway. "Come. I will show you to your room." My room was larger than my entire apartment. King-sized bed, private bathroom with a tub that could fit 4 people, and a closet already filled with clothes in my exact size. "How did you?" "My people are efficient." He lingered in the doorway. "You will find everything you need. If something is missing, tell Secretary Han and it will be arranged." "Just like that?" "Just like that." He turned to leave, then paused. "Amara." "Yes?" "You asked me at the altar if I believe in fate." I did not answer. "And?" His dark eyes found mine in the dim light. "I never believed in anything until you walked through those doors. Now I am not so sure." He left before I could respond. I did not sleep that night. I lay in that enormous bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I had gotten myself into. And wondering why part of me, a part that was growing louder by the hour, did not want to get out. The first week was an education. Jae-won's world operated on rules I did not understand. There were hierarchies and territories, alliances and blood feuds going back generations. The Korean syndicate structure was rigid, built on respect, loyalty, and fear. He was patient with my questions, teaching me who to trust, which was no one, who to fear, which was everyone, and who would die for me now that I was his wife, which was more people than I could count. "Being Mrs. Kang makes you both a queen and a target," he explained one evening over dinner. "You will never be alone in public. Secretary Han will assign you a security detail. Do not try to lose them. They will panic, and panicked guards make mistakes." "Mistakes like shooting someone?" "Exactly." I learned that the Park family had fled the city entirely, Soo-yeon included. Jae-won's people were handling the betrayal, though he never specified what that meant. I learned that his father, Kang Sung-ho, disapproved of our marriage but was too shrewd to say so publicly. I learned that Jae-won's younger brother, Min-jun, was charming, reckless, and probably the only person in the family who seemed genuinely happy I existed. "You are good for him," Min-jun told me one afternoon. "He actually smiled yesterday. Like, a real smile. I have not seen that since we were kids. I am just playing a role." Min-jun's expression turned serious. "Are you?" "Because the way he looks at you when you are not watching, that is not acting, Amara." I dismissed it. Kang Jae-won was a master manipulator. Of course he could fake interest. But then there were the moments. Like when he found me in the kitchen at 2 a.m., stress baking chin-chin and puff-puff because I could not sleep and because the familiar Nigerian snacks reminded me of home. He sat with me until dawn, eating my slightly burned attempts and telling me stories about his childhood in Seoul that made the fearsome boss seem almost human. Like when he discovered I missed my grandmother's shop. The next day, every room in the penthouse had fresh flowers, my flowers, delivered from blooming promises. He had hired a manager to run it in my absence. Not bought, not taken over. Just cared for. Like the night I had a nightmare about my grandmother's death, the same nightmare that had haunted me for 2 years, and woke up screaming. He was there in seconds, holding me while I sobbed, asking no questions, making no demands. Just being present. "You are confusing me," I told him one morning, after he had surprised me with a first-edition copy of my favorite book, one I had only mentioned once, in passing. "Good," he said. "You confuse me too." By month 3, something had shifted between us. The fake smiles became real. The casual touches lingered longer than necessary. I caught myself looking forward to our dinners together, our late-night conversations, the rare moments when his guard dropped and I saw the man behind the mask. I was falling for him. And I was terrified. One night, we were on the balcony watching the city lights when he turned to me with an expression I had never seen before. Vulnerable. Almost nervous. "Amara," he said softly, "I need to tell you something." My heart raced. "What is it?" He opened his mouth to speak, but before he could say a word, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his entire demeanor changed. The warmth vanished. The mask slammed back into place. "I have to take this. We will talk later." But we never did. The next few weeks, Jae-won became distant. He was gone for days at a time, returning with dark circles under his eyes and blood on his knuckles. When I asked what was happening, he gave me vague answers about business complications. Something was wrong. I could feel it. It was month 4 when everything changed. I was alone in the penthouse when Secretary Han appeared with an envelope. "This was delivered for you, Mrs. Kang. No return address." Inside was a photograph and a note. The photograph showed Jae-won sitting across from Soo-yeon at a restaurant. They were holding hands. The timestamp on the photo was from 2 weeks ago. The note was simple. "He has been lying to you from the beginning. Meet me at the address below if you want the truth. Come alone." I should have told Jae-won. I should have shown him the note and demanded answers. But something stopped me. The memory of how distant he had been. The secrets he refused to share. The way he deflected every question about Soo-yeon and the Park family. So I went. The address led to a warehouse in Brooklyn. I knew it was stupid. I knew it could be a trap. But I needed answers more than I needed safety. Soo-yeon was waiting for me. She looked different from the warm woman I had met in the Hamptons. Harder. Colder. Her smile was sharp enough to cut glass. "You came," she said. "I was not sure you would. What is this about? What is in that photo?" Soo-yeon circled me slowly, like a predator assessing prey. "You really do not know, do you? You have no idea what you walked into. Then tell me." She stopped in front of me. "Your grandmother. Before she died, did she ever tell you about your mother?" The question caught me off guard. "My mother died when I was a baby. That is all I know." "Your mother," Soo-yeon said slowly, "was not just some random Nigerian woman. She was a Yoon. The only daughter of the Yoon family, one of the most powerful crime dynasties in Asia before the Kangs destroyed them." The room started spinning. "That is impossible. My grandmother would have told me." "Your grandmother was paid to keep you hidden. To raise you far away from this world. But your blood, Amara, your blood makes you heir to a fortune that the Kangs stole 25 years ago." I shook my head. "Even if that were true, what does it have to do with Jae-won? With our marriage?" Soo-yeon laughed. The sound was bitter. "Oh, Amara. You sweet, naive girl. Why do you think you were hired for the wedding? Why do you think your van broke down at the exact right moment? Why do you think the side door was locked? The words hit me like physical blows. No. Yes. Soo-yeon stepped closer. Jae-won knew exactly who you were from the moment his people found your little flower shop. He orchestrated everything. The job offer. The breakdown. The locked door. He needed you in that cathedral because marrying you gives him legal claim to the Yoon fortune. That is insane. He did not even know I existed until his investigators found you 6 months ago. She pulled out a folder and handed it to me. He has been watching you, Amara. Planning this for months. I opened the folder with trembling hands. Inside were photographs of me. Dozens of them. Walking to work. Arranging flowers. Visiting my grandmother's grave. Some dated back almost a year. And attached to each photo were handwritten notes. Notes about my schedule. My habits. My weaknesses. Notes in handwriting I recognized. Jae-won's handwriting. The folder slipped from my fingers. Every moment, Soo-yeon continued. Every touch. Every sweet word. It was all calculated. He was never falling for you, Amara. He was trapping you. I wanted to deny it. I wanted to scream that she was lying. But the evidence was right there in black and white. Why are you telling me this? I whispered. Because I was supposed to be his wife, Soo-yeon said. I was supposed to be the one he used to claim the Yoon fortune. But when his people discovered that you, the actual heir, were still alive, he changed the plan. He discarded me like garbage. She grabbed my hands. I am not your enemy, Amara. Jae-won is. And I can help you destroy him, if you let me. Before I could respond, the warehouse doors burst open. Jae-won stood in the doorway, flanked by a dozen armed men. His eyes swept from me to Soo-yeon to the scattered photographs on the floor. For a long moment, no one moved. Then he looked at me with those dark eyes. The eyes I had grown to love. The eyes I now realized I never truly knew. Amara, he said carefully. Whatever she told you. Is it true? My voice cracked. Did you know who I was? Did you plan all of this? His silence was answer enough. The man I had fallen in love with. The man I had trusted with my secrets, my fears, my heart. He had been playing me from the very beginning. I can explain, he said. Explain what? That every kiss was a lie? That every tender moment was part of your scheme? It started that way. He took a step toward me. But Amara, things changed. I changed. What I feel for you now. Do not. I backed away from him. Do not you dare tell me your feelings are real. Soo-yeon moved to stand beside me. Her hand found mine. She has made her choice, Jae-won. And she is choosing the truth over your lies. Jae-won's expression hardened. You think Soo-yeon is telling you the whole story? Ask her why she really left me at the altar. Ask her what she was planning to do with the Yoon fortune once she had it. I looked at Soo-yeon. She was still smiling, but something flickered in her eyes. Something cold. Whatever I was planning, she said smoothly, at least I was not pretending to love her while stabbing her in the back. Neither was I, Jae-won shot back. His eyes found mine again, desperate now. Amara, please. Yes, I found you. Yes, I planned for you to be at that cathedral. But what happened after, the way I feel about you, that was never part of any plan. How can I believe anything you say? Because I am telling you the truth now. He took another step forward. And because if this was only about the money, I would have told my lawyers to file the inheritance claim weeks ago. But I did not. I have not touched a single document. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped being a means to an end and became. He never finished the sentence. The window behind him shattered. A gunshot echoed through the warehouse. And Jae-won crumpled to the ground, blood blooming across his chest. I screamed his name, but Soo-yeon's grip on my hand turned to iron. "Come with me," she hissed. "Now." "What did you do?" "What I had to do." She started dragging me toward a back exit. "You will thank me later." I tried to pull away, but more men were pouring into the warehouse. Gunfire erupted everywhere. In the chaos, I saw Jae-won's men rushing to their fallen boss, trying to stop the bleeding. Our eyes met one last time. He mouthed something. A single word. "Run." Then Soo-yeon shoved me through a door, into a waiting car, and the warehouse disappeared behind us. I twisted in my seat, watching smoke rise from the building. Is he dead? Is Jae-won dead? Soo-yeon did not answer. She just smiled that cold, sharp smile. The car sped into the night. And as the city lights blurred past my window, I realized the horrible truth. I had no idea who to trust. The man I loved had betrayed me. The woman who saved me might be even more dangerous. And somewhere in the chaos I had left behind, Jae-won was bleeding out on a warehouse floor. Maybe dying. Maybe already dead. And the last thing he had tried to tell me, the truth I now desperately needed to hear, had been stolen by a bullet. Soo-yeon's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her smile widened. "Change of plans," she said to the driver. "Take us to the airport." "Where are we going?" I demanded. "Home," Soo-yeon said. "To Korea. To claim what is rightfully ours." "Ours?" She turned to look at me, and in that moment, I saw something in her eyes that made my blood run cold. "Oh, did I forget to mention?" Her voice was silk wrapped around steel. "Your mother Adiz was not an only child. She had a sister. My mother." The words hit me like a freight train. "That makes us cousins," Soo-yeon continued. "And as family, we should really stick together. Do you not agree?" The car pulled onto the highway, carrying me further and further from everything I knew. From my shop. From my home. From the man who might be dying because of me. And toward a destiny I never asked for, with a cousin I did not know I had, into the heart of a criminal empire that apparently belonged to my bloodline. What have I gotten myself into? I whispered. Soo-yeon patted my hand. The beginning, dear cousin. This is only the beginning. The city disappeared behind us. And somewhere in the darkness, I could have sworn I heard the echo of Jae-won's voice. Telling me to run. But it was far too late for that now. Amara's world has been turned upside down. The man she loved was using her all along, or was he telling the truth in those final moments? Is Jae-won alive or dead? And what does Soo-yeon really want with her newfound cousin? If you want to find out what happens next, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me what you think Soo-yeon is really planning. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss part 2 of this insane story.